that we were going to be able to create for him that thing that I had always wanted.
And I was like, I'm just trying to be pleasant. Like, I don't know what to do. I've never dealt with this before. He's like, right, but the UK media are saying you love it.
Tell me the ways of how you make things flavorful, but equally, I want to still welcome them with something that I think they'll enjoy. So first,
Picture this. You build your entire identity as the rebellious princess of the royal family, only for the internet to dig up whispers that you've been hiding an entire daughter for 30 years. Meghan Markle isn't just sitting on skeletons in her closet. Honey, she's got a whole maternity ward in there. And while she's out here giving interviews about finding her voice, shedding tears about being silenced, people are asking, girl, where was that voice when you were allegedly signing hush-hush annulment papers in Vegas?
They did is they conducted a search with finding if a Rachel Meghan Markle.
Let's be brutally honest. If Meghan's life were a Netflix series, the tagline would be, new season, same lies, different prince. Every year it's another leak, another scandal, another twist in the world's juiciest royal soap opera. And this time, forget tiaras, forget titles. This one is about a child nobody was ever supposed to know existed. If you're here for royal scandals with receipts, buckle up and smash that subscribe button, because we are diving headfirst into Meghan Markle's biggest mess yet. So here's the deal with Meghan's carefully curated official story. It's got a hole so massive it could swallow Buckingham Palace. And trust me, this isn't the kind of gap you cover with excuses. It's the kind you cover with lies and locked court files.
It's not Eugenie, it's Eugenie. Because those Windsor jeans.
After graduating high school in 1999, Meghan's tale goes that she decided to take a wholesome gap year before college. You know the type, traveling the world, eating gelato in Italy, discovering herself. Cute, right? Except there's a glaring problem. No one can prove she was anywhere. No plane tickets, no snapshots, no wild travel stories from friends. Nothing, just Meghan's word. And at this point, her word has about as much credibility as a shady car dealer with a fake driver's license.
Summer of 1994. Meghan Markle has just graduated from Immaculate Heart High School.
Because instead of living the eat, pray, love fantasy, the rumors say she was slipping into a wedding dress in Vegas and marrying her teenage sweetheart. And honestly, doesn't that sound way more like the Meghan we all know today? The queen of do whatever it takes suddenly vanishes for a year, and the only explanation is the vaguest line ever, a gap year. Please, that wasn't soul searching, that was straight up damage control. And here's the bombshell. If this missing year really involved a baby, then Meghan didn't just take a gap year, she took a gap child.
Meghan Markle trembling as Lilibet's alleged biological mother arrives in California to take back her daughter.
Let's talk Vegas, the city where bad choices aren't just made, they're enshrined in neon forever. And according to whispers, Meghan Markle wasn't there to hit the slot machines or stuff her face at Buffett's. Nope, she was allegedly strutting down some discount aisle to marry Joe Giuliano, her teenage flame. Not exactly Windsor Castle material, but let's not pretend Meghan hasn't always been about trading up. And this wasn't some cutesy elopement with glitter and Elvis impersonators either.
What if one of the world's most famous women admitted to something so personal, so startling, that it left
two family witnesses, a courthouse, boom, married bliss, or not really, because that marriage crumbled faster than a free drink voucher at the Bellagio. Within months, annulment papers were filed. But here's where things get really suspicious. The records? Sealed. In Vegas. The same city where you can still dig up Elvis-themed divorces from the 70s. Yet, Meghan's teenage annulment locked tighter than national security files. Ask yourself, why? What was so scandalous that officials sealed her records like they were hiding nuclear codes? Because it sure wasn't about her privacy. Vegas doesn't just hand out sealed files like party favors. Unless there was something inside those papers that could nuke the carefully manufactured Duchess fairy tale she would later sell to the world. And here's where Meghan's gap year story starts crumbling like a stale croissant. The whispers don't just talk about a teenage wedding, they talk about a pregnancy.
Why don't Harry's children have African-American features? Is Meghan their biological mother? In 2018, before
Yep, a whole baby bump. By mid-1995, rumor has it Meghan had a daughter. Forget vague stories about traveling and finding herself, this was a full-on child. And instead of stepping up, she allegedly handed the baby over to the Giuliano family, like she was dropping off laundry. No adoption papers, no acknowledgement, nothing. Just erased, like the child never existed, while Meghan polished her shiny, I'm baggage-free narrative. Think about the timeline here. Teenage marriage in Vegas, sealed annulment, 9 months later, boom. A baby who vanishes from all official records. The math isn't complicated.
Video has surfaced online showing Meghan Markle pictured with her 2-year-old daughter Lilibet at the 4th of July holiday parade.
So let's spell this out again. Teenage marriage? Check sealed annulment? Check and then, conveniently, a baby that disappears from the record 9 months later. This isn't rocket science, it's basic math. Meghan wasn't just playing house with Joe Giuliano. If the whispers are true, she was building a family. And then, she walked away from it like she always does. The Giulianos, by all accounts, weren't scandal chasers or gossip hounds. They weren't in it for headlines or clout. They were old school, family-oriented. The kind of people who actually valued tradition and stability. And yet, according to the whispers, they found themselves raising Meghan's child in silence, while she reinvented herself into the perfect self-made duchess fairy tale.
Samantha Markle leaks Meghan's 21-year-old daughter's birth certificate as proof. A shocking revelation has sent shock.
And here's the part that sends chills down your spine. This wasn't some scared teenager backed into a corner, making the best of a bad situation. The whispers say this was calculated, strategic. Meghan allegedly saw motherhood not as a blessing, but as an obstacle. That baby wasn't a person to cherish, it was a problem to erase. Think about the kind of coldness that takes. Most people struggle to give away old clothes without feeling attached. Meghan allegedly handed over her own flesh and blood, scrubbed the memory clean, and moved on like it never happened. That's not a mistake, that's a systematic deletion.
Meghan Markle, she decided to post pictures of her kids on set with her for the Netflix show, I guess to try and drum up attention.
And let's be real, doesn't this fit her pattern perfectly? Reinvent, erase, repackage. 1 minute she's an extra in Hollywood, the next she's a duchess. 1 minute she's got a husband and maybe a baby, the next she's scrubbing every trace clean. Friends disappear, family gets cut off, relationships go up in flames. So why would motherhood be any different? If a child threatened her climb to fame, she'd handle it like she handles anyone else who stops being useful. Delete, block, pretend they never existed.
She suffers from such a rare disorder of being unable to just be a human. Candace Owens left
the Giuliano family, if these whispers are true, raised that little girl in quiet silence while Meghan strutted into Northwestern University, rebranding herself as the perfect baggage-free starlet. While they were attending birthday parties, school plays, and explaining to a little girl why her mother wasn't around, Meghan was out there shaking hands at mixers and pretending she'd spent her gap year soul-searching in Europe.
Let's talk about Meghan Markle for a second, because something weird's going on, and it's got a lot of people raising eyebrows.
But secrets don't stay buried forever, and this one just turned 30. Imagine that. Your own child, watching you rise to global fame, watching you preach about authenticity and motherhood, all while she lives as your hidden ghost. Watching you cry on camera about being silenced, while you're the one who allegedly did the silencing first. By the time Meghan hit Northwestern's campus, she was brand new. Polished smile, zero baggage. It was like she'd rebooted her entire operating system. No husband, no annulment, no whispers of a baby, just actress in training Meghan, pretending her past never existed. This wasn't reinvention, it was a full-on witness protection program without the government contract.
Anyone notice Meghan's baby bump looking strange? Did she really give birth to Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet herself?
And let's not kid ourselves. Meghan didn't just distance herself from the Giuliano family, she erased them. Gone. Like extras cut from a movie scene. She strutted into college selling herself as a worldly traveler when her so-called gap year had more red flags than a Buckingham Palace scandal memo. And people bought it. Professors, classmates, casting directors, they swallowed her fairy tale whole, never asking what it cost. Think about the audacity here. While the Giulianos were allegedly changing diapers and sitting through parent-teacher conferences, Meghan was at sorority parties and auditioning for student films. While they were raising her child in silence, she was out there crafting a shiny backstory. It's almost impressive how cold and compartmentalized it all was. Meghan's rise wasn't built on ambition alone. It was built on lies stacked one on top of another until her entire foundation was nothing but smoke and mirrors. But here's the problem with building on quicksand. Eventually, the ground shifts. And when it does, everything you've built comes crashing down. And Meghan thought she was slick. Wipe the slate clean, swap out the old life for a shiny new script, and hope nobody notices the missing chapters. But the problem with secrets? They leak. And Meghan's? They've been dripping out like a broken faucet for years. Friends of the Giuliano family couldn't keep their lips sealed forever. Little hints kept surfacing. Always vague, always careful, but always circling the same storyline. A teenage marriage, a hidden baby, a sealed annulment. Too many whispers, all sounding too similar. That's not coincidence, that's consistency. And here's the kicker. Meghan can ghost her family. She can cut off friends. She can bulldoze anyone who doesn't fit her narrative. But she can't erase memories. She can't stop whispers. And the higher she climbed, Hollywood, the royals, the global spotlight, the louder those whispers became. Every time Meghan gave an interview about finding her truth, people wanted to know about the truth she never talks about. Every time she shed tears about being silenced, the silence around her missing years screamed louder. So while Meghan was polishing her authentic image at Northwestern, somewhere out there was a little girl, allegedly her daughter, watching her mother rise to fame from the shadows, watching her become a global icon while remaining a family secret herself. Imagine that heartbreak, seeing Meghan Markle talk about authenticity while knowing you were erased from her story. And let's be real, Meghan crying on camera about being cut off from the royal family hits differently when whispers say she cut off her own child first. All those speeches about authentic motherhood ring hollow if you believe she abandoned her firstborn. All that talk about finding her voice is nothing but irony if she allegedly silenced her daughter before she could even speak. The Duchess who accused the monarchy of cover-ups might just be running the biggest cover-up of all, and the timing? Chef's kiss levels of brutal. Just as Meghan positions herself as the voice of the voiceless, this ghost from her past threatens to expose her as the worst kind of hypocrite. The activist who fights for women's rights, accused of robbing another woman, her own child, of her identity. The royal rebel who claims to have been silenced, accused of being the silencer all along. It's almost too ironic, almost too perfectly Meghan. Because here's the thing, this isn't a rumor about tiaras or family feuds. This isn't another tabloid squabble with Kate or Charles. This is blood. And blood doesn't lie. DNA tests don't care about branding. Time doesn't care about PR. 30 years have passed, and if that daughter ever steps forward, it won't just bruise Meghan's image. It will bulldoze the foundation of everything she's fought to protect. Imagine the fallout. One interview, one photo, one confirmation. The Duchess who made her million-selling authenticity exposed as a woman who allegedly buried the most authentic truth of all. No Oprah special, no Netflix documentary, no Spotify deal could spin that away. The past doesn't care how polished your present looks. And Meghan's past? It just turned 30 and might be ready to talk. You can run from critics, you can dodge headlines, you can even outrun royal traditions, but you can't outrun blood. Meghan's empire is built on carefully curated authenticity, but authenticity built on lies isn't authenticity at all. It's just branding, and branding has an expiration date. Secrets have a shelf life, and this one is about to expire. Because here's the truth about truth. It doesn't care if you're a duchess, a Hollywood actress, or a Netflix producer. When it's ready, it surfaces, and when it does, no PR team, no legal team, no tear-stained interview can shove it back into the dark. Meghan Markle might have thought she could rewrite her past, but the past doesn't vanish. It waits. It watches. And now, it's 30 years old and knocking at the door. This isn't just another royal scandal. This isn't palace gossip. This is the cost of ambition when ambition comes before truth. Meghan spent decades crafting her narrative. But in the end, the narrative might just turn on her. Because you can reinvent yourself 1,000 times, but you can't reinvent the past. And Meghan's past? It's alive, grown, and allegedly ready to tell its own story. Ready to...